All right, sons. Let's do it.
Of anarchy.
Let's do it.
The Trevon's got the one I like. Damn it.
I know I was almost gonna pick that one too.
Trevon always gets the heat fire. I keep trying to tell y'all. Like, Trevon always has the heat fire. You got to be quicker.
Favorite one.
You got to be faster when it comes to backdrops, man.
Yeah.
Trevon is literally that commercial. Oh, should have been quicker than that.
You gotta be quicker.
You got to be quicker than that. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the MCR. It's been a little bit of a while, but we are back. And now we are back to break down Msmarvel. Before we did Moon Knight, bit of a break. Now we got Msmarvel in the middle of Kenobi. So we literally are about to shoot these back to back. So that's going to be very stressful. Very, very, very stressful each week. But anyway, I am very excited to break down this first episode of Msmarvel with Didge, Joel, and Trevon. But first, I want to give a shout out to Disney. Disney gave me and Tristan a chance to check out the first two episodes of Msmarvel. Phenomenal, as you guys know, with this first episode that we're about to dive into. But make sure you guys check out Tristan's write-up of the first two episodes. Obviously, his article for this episode is out. His article for the second one will drop next week. So shout out to Tristan, who also immediately fell in love with the show. He texted me, he was like, did you finish watching it yet? I'm like, I just did. And he's like, great, right? I'm like, yes, it was. Yes, it was. The first 5 minutes of it, I was just like, I love her. This is it. This is Msmarvel now. I will forever only see Msmarvel. This is it. Right? Like, I'll never refer people back to a comic book or a video game. Go watch the series. That's Msmarvel, if you're ever curious. But all right, let's jump right into it. Let's just talk to the panel a little bit. What's up, Didge?
Not much. I really liked this show. I had no expectations going in, and I wish they would have had a second episode today.
It was one of those things where it's like, why couldn't Disney just take the boys route? And it's just like, here's 3 episodes. Here you go.
Right.
Happy summer.
Or Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, Obi-Wan did too, but I think that was more so like, sorry, it didn't come out when we promised. We pushed it a few days. So
right.
There you go. Next up, Trevon. What's going on, Trevon?
Oh, I'm very happy about this show. I made a joke online. I don't know if everybody paid attention, but I was like, oh yeah, forgot about that other show that's on Disney Plus. This one kind of takes
joke.
You meant it, yeah. Why are you lying? You meant it. That wasn't no joke. You meant that. you said that with your full chest. Yeah.
I
literally just watched Obi-Wan. Yeah, I was like, I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it and blocked Trevon for an hour and then unblocked him. But no, I also tagged you. Just an hour. Like, yeah, get all that negativity out of here. But I did tag you, Trevon, and Brie Larson had put out a photo today of when she first zoomed our new Msmarvel. And it's just really awesome to see how close they are. Just to get it started and then how close they're going to be going forward. I mean, she's literally playing a character who idolizes the character that Brie Larson's playing. So I'm like, they should have a really good relationship. There shouldn't be any, like, no, I haven't spoken to her yet. How?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, Kevin Feige, when he gave you the role, should have had Brie Larson right there. Like, right there on the call. Like, all right, you got the job. You're excited. All right, Brie, tell her what to expect. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool that it seems that they're very close. Because like I said, I feel as though you just need to be when your characters are that connected. Like, I idolize you, But also Iman, I believe is her name, right, Joel?
Yeah. Iman.
She is a massive Marvel fan. Like, when you hear her talk about it, she's not one of these actors that just got a check and it's like, oh, it's about to change my life. She's like, bitch, money. I don't care about that. Like,
she seemed very like she was the character. She was Kamala Khan.
Bruh, she was so hyped about, like, I could just talk to Tom Holland. Like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talked to Tom Holland. How dope is that? So I'm excited for her. Whenever someone that young gets this much success, it's like, I'm proud of you, man. I'm really, really, really proud of you.
Do you see under that tweet? I think you saying I clicked it. Apparently, she was at some kind of convention or something, and I asked her what would she want in the next movie, and she said she would want Msmarvel. So I was like, it's cool that it's actually happening. I'm excited that they're actually doing it.
Yeah, some of these actors, man. Yeah, some of these actors really be shooting their shots. They really do. They really do be shooting their shots. Joel, make sure start shooting your shots.
What am I doing?
Start shooting your shots with Marvel and DC so you can get a role. So it can change our lives. Look how I just added myself in. So it can change both of our lives. Go out there, Joel. Come on. What's going on, Joel? Yes, of course. 100%. Yeah. Duh. Hurry up and do it. All right, let's get right into this. This was a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun. Already starting off with, by the way, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd is such a fucking classic song.
Perfect opening.
That was a great song.
Great opening. But I love that she starts it off with giving us a reenactment of Endgame. We now know the secret that has been terrorizing me for about a year and a half now is how does the world keep casually talking about events that did not happen in the open? Scott Lang is a snitch. That's what we learned.
I just picture him. He's sitting there with his cup of coffee, just sitting there, just chatting on his podcast about it.
Of course.
And you know what? A lot of us out there owe Luis an apology. We all assumed that Scott Lang told him, and he told the world. Turns out Scott Lang was the snitch. He was sitting there just like, whatever you want to know, I'll tell you everything. It's just like everything. And apparently he didn't hold back because at the Avengers Con, there was Rocket Raccoon, there was Drax, there were a whole lot of characters that I'm like, there's no way that people saw them. They left right after.
Yeah, they showed up. They showed up for the fight and were gone.
And they were gone. And I'm like, I find it very hard to believe that Rocket, during the course of those 4 or 5 years of the blip, was just walking to a ShopRite to get milk. And it was just like, oh, that's Rocket. No, Rocket very much was not just that accessible. So Scott apparently was describing these characters to a T.
Describing them great. Like he went into detail.
Yes. Now, I will say the one thing either Scott left out or Kamala left out is I love how Kamala's like, and Captain Marvel was so powerful, she knocked Thanos on his butt. But she failed to mention Thanos rocked her shit.
She's a Captain Marvel super fan. You think she's gonna talk about that part?
Be fair.
As a
got hit with a power stone, pure energy. Don't do that.
Yeah, she is a super fan.
No. Thanos didn't do nothing. There was a power stone. Don't do that.
You know the links that fans will do. We just talked about it in football. Fans, what the links of fans will do.
Hey, look. You're not wrong. I've been saying since I was 8 years old, there's nobody in DC that could beat Batman. I still believe that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, so obviously we get the reenactment. We find out that Scott Lang is the one, as shout out to Mr. E is saying in the comment section, was singing like Aretha Franklin. And that is the most accurate way to put that. That was really cool to see how that all panned out. Now, what wasn't clear is, so one thing they did make known with this that I know me and Joel always went back at each other about was, like, we don't know, maybe Captain Marvel was visible during the time of the blip. We now know she wasn't. All this is secondhand. All this information is secondhand. And then she immediately left right after that. So she was just like, I got shit to do. Sorry. Yeah, I can't stay.
She's truly a fan because she even gave like, oh, dude, don't come at her for not being here. She's busy.
Right, yeah. She
is a true fan.
Like, yeah. So obviously we get some shots of Iman with her family. I already love her dad. Protect him at all costs.
He's great.
You could start killing Avengers before you touch that man. That man needs to be a part of the MCU forever. Go ahead, Trevon.
I don't like neither one of them.
The mom I can understand. The dad, I was so hurt. Awesome. I was so hurt when she.
How do you not like the dad?
Upset with him for the when she didn't.
You're
want
not going. You're not going.
No, but hold on, time out. Hold on, time
mad
out.
at them for being parents.
Time out. Hold on. To be fair, like Joel and Didge said, if you're talking about the mother, I can give you the leeway for that. But listen to how the dad said she wasn't going. He said it was so much hurt. He was hurt.
Really, come on.
She was a bitch.
You really thought she wanted to go to this thing with you like this?
Time out. Hold on. Time out. Really quickly. Let me just add this in. Let me add this in really quickly. If my parents at that age were willing to get that much into Marvel and DC with me, that they were willing to cosplay with me, I'd do it in a fucking heartbeat. Are you serious?
And that's truly like
16? No.
Yes, but let me tell you this. Do you know how frustrating? Do you know how frustrating it is to continuously talk to my mom about Marvel for her to ask me when is Batman going to be in an Iron Man movie? Do you know how stressful that is, Trevon? I would have loved it if she was just as interested in that universe as I was and willing to cosplay with me.
Right. Did you see how excited he was to have that Hulk, the big Hulk? Like he was so excited. And like, I completely understood when he was saying like, he was so hurt. And it seemed so parental. Like I've done stuff with my parents where it's like, I don't want you here. And I saw how hurt they were afterwards.
Right.
It felt true.
Yeah. Her dad very much.
Her mom, I get it.
Her dad very much has an extreme soft spot for her. And look, I'll even defend the mom. Shout out to the mom because I am a component of this. When you're family, you never, under any circumstances, no matter how wrong they are, let anyone disrespect your family that's outside of the family. Now, when you get home, you can yell at them all you want. You don't let anybody else disrespect your family. So I love when the driver. No. I love when the driving instructor was just like, "Hey."
Oh yeah, that part. Yeah,
and the mom was just like, my daughter didn't do anything. What did you do? Like, it was your fault. That
part was great.
I love that. I'm like, if anyone's chastising my child, it'll be me. I don't need you to do it.
Either way, like her parents felt like true parents. They felt like real parents. And I can understand somebody not liking the mom character because that's the hard ass parent. Essentially, you get annoyed with them very quickly. Like I didn't have a gripe for her character, but I get somebody saying that they didn't like it. The dad, on the other hand, he just seemed like the fun-loving dad who really wanted to be a part of his daughter's life. And like I said, even when he had to discipline her and say you can't go, like you said, it was truly from a place of hurt because you know how coming at it saying like you're just embarrassing me. He's like, I just wanted to be there with you.
And what stood out to me the most
for 2 hours at Avenger Con. Come on, that was awful.
And what stood out to me what stood out to me the most was
let's see you have a kid, Trevon. Let's see how you feel.
What stood out to me the most was when the mom was telling her mom was telling her like, hey, when you go to the driver's test, make sure you're constantly checking your mirrors. And the dad was just like, fuck all that. Just look like you're checking the mirrors. You'll be fine. So I believe, remember when her brother came in and said, look, I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them. I'll see if I can smooth this over. I can guarantee you when the brother spoke to him, the mom was adamant. No, it was the dad that I guarantee you smoothed it over. And look, this is probably exactly what the dad said. What if I go with her? And the mom was just like, well, yeah, sure. Okay. And that's how he sold it. So you can see the hurt. Had to do what?
Why he had? Never mind.
Have you never been parented?
I said why the brother gotta ask for them to let her go. Like I was like,
time out though, Trevon. To be fair, this is a whole different custom. So in this custom, it seems as though they're way more protective of their women than they are of their men. So the men are given more leeway, right? Yeah. The women, the last thing you want to hear is Kamala Khan done got pregnant. Somebody done drugged her. She done got kidnapped. Any of that is something that you just don't risk. You know,
one thing that made me mad with Kamala is when she was like, you know, we wearing those skimpy outfits. I was like, you have the outfit on. Take the robe off, and so you can show her it's not a skimpy outfit. Like it's a whole damn leather suit.
Well,
like,
her mom, but it was her mom was necessarily upset that it was skimpy. She said it was tight. That was her thing.
It wasn't even that.
The pants were tight.
The pants were tight. The pants were tight.
But that's how strict they are, you know.
Yeah.
Well, she'll keep sneaking out there. Like, get ready for more.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying, like, but that's how protective parents are. They're very strict and structured.
Shit, not just protective parents. Man, I got 2 younger sisters.
Make them worse.
Hey, with girls, man.
Leggings don't exist in my home. Leggings do not exist in my home.
Absolutely
not. You gotta put some jeans on.
But it also could be the fact that their culture too, though. Like, right. None of us, at least to my knowledge, have any Middle Eastern parents or anything. So, that culture, that could very well be how it is. And from what I saw from the responses, a lot of people are saying it felt true to home. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. So again, I completely respect that, and like I said, me not being a parent, but just having 2 younger sisters, I know I view everything the exact same way. You're going to a party? All right, I can come, right? No, I don't want you to go. Well, I don't think you're going. Like, who's going to be there? No, they sound whorish. You can't go with them. Sorry. So, they sound whorish. Sorry, you can't go with those friends.
They sound like
right, exactly. So to me, I'm like, God. I'm just a brother, and I'm that protective. So I'm like, I know me as a dad. No, you can't go there.
Not gonna work.
But I will say this, Trevon, I would have liked it if it followed the game a little bit more. Because I did love her going with her dad and just loving experiencing Avengers Day with her dad in the game. So remember in the game, they did this whole thing, but she was so young. She went with her dad.
She had to go to fucking San Francisco too.
Right. She had to go to San Francisco.
Far. It wasn't downtown or whatever.
Right. So she went with her dad, and it was just really cool to see them experience that together. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, part of me wanted to see that here, but again, I get it. I get that I'm not going with my dad. Sorry, I'm not.
I get that too.
I'm not. She's like, I already get shit on at school. And you want me now to be the only one with my dad?
She didn't play that well at all. Because she knew that she had to play nice to go, period. Right. And then the way she reacted to them, I know it was embarrassing to see, but still, like, you gotta like meet them halfway. The way she reacted, like, that would hurt my feelings. It came out like that, Fuck that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anywhere then.
I mean, because look, Joel, I know you. Like, if you completely suit up as Batman, right? And you're like, hey, I fully committed. I'm ready to go with you. And then she's like, nah, I don't want you to go with me. I'm like, well, damn.
Not if you dress like that. I'm like, well, then you ain't going either.
Now, I will say the most authentic to me, and this has nothing to do with her religion or anything like that. The most authentic thing that was done this entire episode was when they were running to catch the bus. Her bike got left, and she goes, what are the chances that this will be here when I get back? And when he said in Jersey City, none. None. And if you know Jersey City, that bike probably got stolen as the bus was pulling off. Somebody's just like, oh, bike. So I'm like, I love that line. I really love that line. Because I'm like, Jersey City, hell no, that bike is long gone. Long gone. And they're definitely taking the little stones you put on your wheels to see if they're worth anything too. But I completely love this episode so much. One thing I was really intrigued by was when you have the closed captions on, when they're on the roof and he's telling her about the gloves that he made her, the gauntlets, the photons. The P in the photon is capitalized.
I noticed that.
Yeah. And then I was watching New Rockstars. Eric had interviewed the directors, and the directors were saying they had asked Kevin, like, does photon have something to do with like Monica Rambeau? And Feige very much told the directors, mind your fucking business. She's not in your show. That's none of your concern. Mind your fucking business. So to us, that sounds like that definitely has something to do with photon.
I mean, it was on the thing. Like, they got like
right. But again, Trevon, the only reason why I was a little hesitant in believing that it was connected was you have a movie that's coming out called The Marvels. So I very much had believed you were going to find a way for all three of them to have Marvel somewhere in their names, right? So I'm like, if you call her Photon, it's like, well, unless you're calling her Marvel Photon doesn't really make sense, right? It's like then there's only 2 Marvels, right. And then you have an add-on. So it's like at some point, the 3 of them are gonna rotate that name Marvel between the 3 of them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I don't know if Photon is something like Joelle said she takes later on to separate herself from the 2 of them, or if it's something she has now and then changes it to something Marvel in the course of that movie.
I would say, if I had to take a guess, I would say now, because of the fact that she's probably, I don't know, she doesn't seem to be on good terms with her at the moment.
Right.
And maybe she doesn't want to be associated with her at the moment. So maybe Photon is more her mother, you know?
You know what I just had the thought of, Joelle? You know what would make perfect sense? Captain Marvel spends all her fucking time in space. So I could see her just essentially giving her an extension of the title so that Earth has Marvels, right? So it has Marvels there to protect it while she's out doing all the other shit. Because technically Msmarvel plus Photon together makes one Carol Danvers. So I'm like, I could understand that. I could definitely see that. But all right. So first of all, let me give a shout out to that guidance counselor. If my guidance counselor was nearly as cool as that guidance counselor, I would have been a way better student.
I would have hated it. Oh,
you would have hated it?
At 16, 17, knowing who I was, I would have hated it. I
don't like
you're trying too hard.
Oh man, I would have appreciated that over the hard asses I had as guidance counselors. Like, oh my god, goodness gracious.
I felt I could like now. Yes, he seemed like he was a decent dude, but I know me at 16, 17. I was like, why are you trying this hard?
like yeah, you're coming off pretty creepy. You should maybe dial that back a little bit. But I do want to give it a shout out. Her costume does look awesome. I really like it. I like it a lot.
Which one?
This one, the cosplay one that she made.
Which one? The one in her fantasy? The one?
No. The one that she actually made. The one that she actually made.
I noticed that. I'm like, that looks too good for cosplay. And then we see the cosplay one. Oh.
They were like, okay, I see the difference here. I also loved that her friend Bruno, right? That's his name, Bruno, right?
Yeah.
I love that Bruno, when he thought she was going as the Hulk, dressed up as Bruce Banner. He thought he was going to fit in with her and her dad. And then when she comes out and she's like, no, I'm not doing that shit. And he's just like, oh, well, fuck me, right? Like, all right, so clearly I won't be as cool as what I was planning on.
Tony Stark, yeah, she had a whole, I love that
whole thing down her head. Yeah. That was dope. I love that a lot. I also love that Bruno spent all his time perfecting her costume. Didn't really put much into his. Didn't really put much into his. He cared about it so much. He wanted that to be perfect for her. And it's always great to have a friend like that. Because I'll be damned. A Captain Marvel contest? What? Bitch, I want to be popular.
Right. We found out during that scene that there was a Captain America one right before it.
Yeah, like what? I ain't got time for your shit. Like, come on now.
He in love with her.
Oh, he's definitely in love with her.
100%. 100%.
Infatuated.
And the last thing that I really enjoyed is when Bruno shows up. No, I'm sorry. Kamala Khan and her mom arrive home, and Bruno's heading out, and Kamala's mom's like, let me grab you some food. That's the fastest I've ever seen someone prep and bag some food. Now, I don't have a problem with it. I just really enjoyed it because I'm like, if you're doing a show about her daughter having superpowers, I like that the mom's superpowers is I'm the ultimate bagger, right? Like I can package and bag like no one you've ever seen. And she did that shit. I even love how Bruno's just like, how did you do that so fast? Like you didn't even know I would be here. How did you do this? And she's just like, don't worry about that shit. Shut the fuck up. But I overall love this episode. Like I said, this entire cast so far has stolen my heart. It's probably my favorite cast of all the current Disney Plus Marvel shows that we've seen so far. My all-around ensemble. It's my favorite from top to bottom, where I just love everybody's hitting for me. Even the chatty ass aunt at the boutique or whatever that kind of gave Kamala that look like, mind your fucking business. Won't nobody talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like we all had that aunt that's just like, all right, relax. I thought I could give an opinion. Shit. So I love it. I cannot wait.
That character, she voices somebody in Apex Legends.
Really?
Yeah, she's a voice actress. Because I follow her from that, and I'm like, she looks familiar. And I go on Twitter, I'm like, oh, it's her. Okay, there you go.
You're like, it's your voice I recognize, not your face. Got it. But yeah, I completely loved everything about this, and I can't wait to see how it progresses going forward. And then when we see, as Trevon has behind him and Didge, the final look, because that final look it makes me cry how perfect that is. And then it reminds me of, see how simple her costume is, right? Look how simple it is. And look how it does not drastically differ from her comic counterpart. Why more people won't do this in the MCU, I'll never understand. Like, it's so practical. Just do it. Just do it the right way. So I loved it. I can't wait to see more. Trevon, I'll start off with you, man. What were your thoughts on episode 1 of Msmarvel?
I thought it was beautiful, man. The way it started, like the way she plays the character, it's just so fun. Like, it's just I guess sweet. I don't know how you would say it. It's just really cool. Like, I really like it.
It felt wholesome.
Yeah, there you go. Like, it just like, her with her friendship with Bruno, like the way in school, it's like she's not bullied, but she's not respected. I don't know. And it's cool. Like, I'm very interested in when she found the bracelet, or I don't know what bangle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You nailed it. That's what it is. Yep.
Nailed it.
She said her nanny had it or something. And I'm like, what did your nanny do? Because your mom was just like, nah, put that shit up. Like, I was like, do you know what it is? Like, do you know what it is or something? Like, why you like? It was interesting the way she reacted to it. Like, it was like a more than just, oh, put that stuff up. It's more like, put that up. Like,
right.
Don't touch it. Like, I was like, what is, like, how do you? I need to dig into that. I want to know a little more about what that is. Like, what is that? Like, Joe, Nana's what? Grandma, aunt? What is it?
Grandma.
Grandma. I would assume.
Because I believe it's like a. And again, I'm not speaking for the language, but I call my grandmother Nanny. So I'm assuming that's all the root. Like, it's all connected. It's all connected. But no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trevon. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I like the powers. Like I said, I didn't have the problem when I first started. It's different from the game, of course, but it's just like, oh well, like cosmic. You Captain Marvel's cosmic. Why not? So I didn't.
Now, I will say the directors did speak on that. Directors did come out and say that they were looking. They didn't bring up Reed Richards or anything like that. They were saying they wanted the power set to match where we are right now in the MCU, which to me is still a cop out, because I'm like, well, then you could have just fucking waited till you were at a better point in the MCU, which you could have had her fucking accurate powers. But like I said before, I don't have any issues with this, because apparently the power comes from the bangle. So I'm like, she doesn't necessarily have superpowers. It's something that's in her that connects with the said bangle that allows her to activate to utilize it. So I'm like, you still have the door open to where a Terrigen Mist can come down the line and she gets her actual embiggening powers. So I'm like, if you want to utilize this for now, no issue for me. No issue for me. No issue for me at all.
I'm curious, just, if you Google her one time, you'll see what her powers are. So it's kind of like, it is a definite departure from what you think of her. If you just Google her one time, you'll see. And they can't say that they can't do it. We just saw somebody do it in Dr. Strange. So it's like, you can't act like it's not possible. Like, I don't understand what that mean where we are in the MCU right now, because it's not like you guys can't do it. There's been many examples. I mean, the older Fantastic Four movies and stuff they did it fine to me. So I was like, it's not like it's not possible. Yeah, I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. Like, either way, it's still fun. I love her character. I love this way. It seems like give her more, like the thing that pushed her up on the roof, and it's just cool little things it does. I'm like, okay, this power can literally come out any limb. So that's kind of cool. Best friend's awesome. The mom annoyed me. The dad, I was cool with the dad until he did that. He was like, "You're not going." I was like,
"No." See, look at you doing it out of context. He did not say it like that. He said it very hurt.
He was devastated.
He
was so.
His heart was torn out. His heart was torn out.
He was so excited to be Big Hulk.
Embarrassing.
No, Trevon. But
you had to know.
Here's the thing. We're not arguing against what you're saying. We get it, because probably at the same time, all of us probably would have said the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
We're just saying that he was hurt when she said it, because to him, he probably viewed it as like this big thing, right? It seems like him, her dad and her mom never really bought into her obsession with the Avengers, right? So for him, he thought it was breaking ground. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're a big Nicki Minaj fan, right, Trevon? That's like if one of your parents who've never understood why you like Nicki Minaj or whatever, all of a sudden learned her lyrics so that they can go to a concert with you. And you're like, "You're not fucking going with me." They're like, "Well, what the fuck? I spent like 3 days learning almost every song so I can enjoy it with you, and you kicking me to the curb. Like, that hurts."
He put on green paint for that little girl.
Yeah, right, here's the kicker.
Painted his face green.
He put on green paint that he knew he would have to wash off and reapply.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
he put it on just for her.
Yeah. So again, I'm with you in the sense of, you got to kind of understand that from her point of view, it is embarrassing, the only person with your parents there. But then when you look at it from his point of view, because we're all older now, right? None of us are at that age where we're like, "Yeah, that's not cool." So when you look at it from being older, you're like, he just was trying to be a really cool dad, and he thought that'd be a really cool moment for them to experience it together. Yeah. So maybe he could learn about the world of the Avengers and maybe get into it. So that's why I'm saying you could sense the hurt. He was devastated. So when he said, "You're not going," it wasn't. Yeah. So when he said "you're not going," he didn't say it as emphatically as the mother did. He said it more so like, "Yeah, you know what? I was on your side, but fuck it. Now I'm with your mother. You're not."
I mean, they don't think she was hurt when she worked all that courage to ask right there in front of y'all. Was like, "Nah." Like, you don't think she was hurt there? You knew
he didn't say no, though. But he didn't say no. The mother said no.
Well, step in, be like, "Look, she going." Like, come on.
But they conceded. They said you can go now.
Right.
Yeah, but with me.
Yeah, but with dad. Okay. And it would have been with her dad and Bruno. It's not like it would have been just the two of them.
Right.
It would have been so awful.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And look, she didn't have to be a bitch about it. That's all it is.
You know? I don't get that. I don't get how she was a bitch.
The way she reacted, no need to be like that. Especially when they finally conceded, you shut the door on yourself.
No.
Yeah. And that was a big ass place. You could have easily just lost him. Oh yeah. You could have easily just dipped from his ass. Like, get the fuck out of here.
And then she would have gotten when she got home. Like,
hey, look. But time out. At that point, she would have still had her bike. Yeah. Like, a lot of things would have been a little bit different.
Don't need the bike now.
With the dad.
Well, that's different.
That's different. That's different. Yeah, she didn't know that at the time, though, Trevon. But I do want to ask you, Trevon. Before I let you finish up, before I pass it, when she kind of first put on the bangle and then had that kind of freak out moment, what do you think she saw? Do you think that was an ancestral plane, like in both Moon Knight and Black Panther? I personally thought they were victims. That's what I looked at it as. It's like, that's whatever this is, it's killed some people. and she's looking at, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't even
only because
like
it's like it looked creepy.
It looked creepy. At the crowd and even I don't know. It's like I don't know. Just to me, like it just looked just like the crowd she just was in front of. So I didn't really think about anything like that.
Yeah, you went dark.
Well, like I said, it looked really creepy. So I'm like, it looked dark. So I'm like, well, shit, maybe because again,
maybe some of the people are evil in the crowd. Maybe that's what that's it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Dark dimension. It wasn't the dark dimension.
Yeah, definitely not. Because I'm like, to introduce that before Doctor Strange can fully go into that would be like, all right, that's something. All right. Did you want to add anything else, Trevon?
don't think so. I think that was, I think, I enjoyed it. Let's see what else everybody else got to say.
All right, Joel, I'll go to you next. What were your thoughts on this first episode for Msmarvel?
I really loved it. I really did. I had like we were talking about earlier, like it gave us that feel because I had that that same feeling that Homecoming kind of gave you. You know what I mean?
Or even Into the Spider-Verse, to which the director said they got a lot of motivation from.
I could see it. I love like
visually.
For sure.
Her imagination, and look, I could definitely relate, because my in high school especially, I did not want to live in reality. I was like, so like I could totally understand where she was coming from, because like every time I looked out the window, something was happening in my head that was not actually happening outside. So like I totally could relate. That whole time, I'm like, yeah, that was definitely me in high school. It's crazy. Like her conversation, like the easy, like she had like low attention span. She's like, I'm just that's all I do is daydream. It's insane. But yeah, so I did love that. I love a lot of the creative choices they made. Mainly through her imagination, like when she's texting Bruno and you see her responses or his responses.
I love
on the background. That was dope. Like the street lights. I know it's just emojis. I'm like, that was very. It had was Scott Pilgrim-y, kind of like. I love that. A lot of bright colors.
Yeah. Wait, have you watched Scott Pilgrim yet, Juwaan? You can't nod if you haven't watched Scott Pilgrim yet.
I've seen the trailer. Like I know how it looks visually.
No, you can't say because I've seen the trailer.
I've seen how it looks visually. What are we talking about?
You got to see it through the element of the movie.
But hold on, you're saying it like Joel brought up a character, and it's like, well, you didn't see it. You don't know that. He brought up the aesthetic. I can see what the aesthetic looked like. I can agree on that.
It's also because I still feel some type of way because you haven't seen the movie.
I haven't yet. It's in my queue. It's in my queue.
It should be at the top.
I will. It's not at the top of my queue.
Super underrated.
But I will see it. It
should be at the top of your queue.
Look, you should have been this adamant when they made me watch High School Musical. You should have fought for fucking.
You should be upset.
I didn't expect you to go on and put up a tweet about it. That was a wild time.
No, I didn't think anyone fucking cared. I thought people would be like, who cares about Juwaan and what he could be doing? Apparently a lot of fucking
Juwaan
people.
And torture, though, it's different.
I
told you, I sent the tweet out. I told you, I was.
I know. I definitely understand how much fun it is to torture me. Yeah, I definitely get it. No, it's not gonna ever happen again. If anything, I almost unsubscribed to Disney Plus as a whole.
I'll never hit the same again.
I almost just bootlegged Msmarvel and Kenobi just to avoid Disney Plus. But Joel, what were your thoughts on the rest of the episode?
Good. Like I did like the parents, especially the father. I understand not liking the mother, but it's only because she's really strict. She's like we were saying earlier. She's a strict parent, so you're never gonna identify exactly with the one that's always telling you no. I get that. 100% get that. It was it's fun seeing a character in Jersey City, like recognizing certain parts. You're like, okay, maybe they did film there. Did they film there? Because that looked very familiar.
I did want to ask you this, Joel. Do you know the significance of the building that they were partying in?
No.
So the building they were partying in is the same. That's the same place. Obviously not the same exact building, but the same place. When Captain America was training in First Avenger, and then when they revisited in Winter Soldier.
That's why it popped up. It said birthplace of Captain America.
Right. That's why he had the statue there. So he had the statue there, and then when they walked in, they were playing the Captain America theme song.
I heard that
in the background.
I thought they were talking about the city. I'm like, Captain America wasn't born in New Jersey.
No.
First of all, you don't have to say it like that.
That's where he trained. That's where he was. That's where the.
I caught it after that, but I'm like, I could have sworn he was not born in New Jersey.
And I did. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, there's a real life statue in Brooklyn though of Captain America.
Nice.
Now I will say one of the other funnier things that you can catch in this episode is apparently when Drax was two big things happened when they first walked in. So one of them was someone was handing out pamphlets for New Asgard, a tour guide for New Asgard, which was awesome. So it lets us know that it is a tour, a tour attraction.
The trailer didn't give it away.
Right, yeah, it definitely is there. That's why Valkyrie looked as stressed as she was, just like, oh my fucking
They need to make money, bro.
Right, exactly. And the other biggest, well, not biggest thing, but funny thing is there's apparently a book about Star-Lord, but his name on the cover is Starboy. So apparently when Scott Lang was giving all the deets about everybody, apparently he forgot the name was Star-Lord. Just called him Starboy. That's
hysterical. And luckily he won't come back because he doesn't care, but if he ever does, I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, he's gonna and so there'll be two Guardians that's upset. Star-Lord because that book calls him Starboy, and Rocket because the things that were being sold behind the guy that was in front of the books kept calling them Trash Panda.
I didn't catch that.
So it's like, so whenever you hear Trash Panda, you think back to when Rocket asked Quill, like, is that good or bad? And Quill's like, it's so much worse.
It's so much worse.
So yeah, Rocket's gonna come back.
Question about filming in New Jersey. They did do some film. They did do some filming there. Yeah.
Sweet. I mean, they should have. Yeah, they definitely should have. I kind of feel like you should. You know, get some of the authenticity in there.
Hopefully, I mean, even if it didn't, I'm like, wow, I couldn't tell the difference. It's crazy.
I mean, cause shit, we know Marvel. Marvel will go to Atlanta, Georgia, and tell you it's Africa. And it's like, well, Marvel.
Most of it was filmed in Georgia.
Like, can we do some of the actual place you're trying to portray?
Most of it for sure was filmed in Georgia. That was right and center when I went to filming. Like,
but yeah, what else stood out to you, Joel?
Oh fuck! What else stood out to me? That was really it. I mean, her using her powers, like the new power, seeing that like it in action was different because this is technically the first time we're all seeing her use these powers ever. Because not even in the comic books is it the same thing, you know. And her shooting shit out like she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. But I love that she was attracted to the bangle from the beginning. When she looked at it, there's something about it, and her mother. It's trash, bro. But she didn't throw it away. She not throw it away. She put it upstairs, rolled around this little thing, and you know what? She came back with. She was just like she's drawn to it. So I look forward to seeing the history behind the bangle, and how they explain all that extra shit. And I do love that we did get some type of a beginning where the long stretch like catch, like baseball catch, girl,
which is accurate to her first appearance. Her first comic. That's how she saved that exact character. It was the same way.
Was her name Zoe?
Yeah, I think it was Zoe. Yeah.
So yeah, I was trying to keep track of all the new characters. Who's that? I don't remember that in my notes.
Now I wanted to ask you this, Joel, because someone pointed this out. I did not know this at all. Closer in the beginning when she was showcasing all the like when she was recreating Endgame. So there was a shot of War Machine winking and Captain Marvel blowing a kiss. And apparently they had like a whole thing with those two characters in the comics.
They dated it.
I had no idea.
During Civil War II, actually, yeah, right. I think Civil War II. Yeah, there was definitely some beef because it was Carol versus Tony, and then like.
Oh yes, okay, yes. Now I remember. Okay, I couldn't remember where it was from.
Rhodey dies, I believe, in that too. So it's like. Oh, it's weird, but now he's back somehow. I never got caught up. But
they love just bringing people back.
But yeah, they had a thing.
Yeah, I did not know that at all. So that was really cool when I heard that. And I definitely want to give a shout out because anytime you're able to put something Beyonce in anything, I'm a fan. Kamala's shirt when she goes to the guidance counselor. Let's get information. It's technically Let's Get in Formation, the Beyonce song. But they're all nerdy because it's like, let's get actual information. I thought that was really fucking cool. I was like, that's cute. I like that. That's awesome. And apparently Ant-Man and Wasp went to, what was it? France or Paris? Like on like a love vacation. How people know that is also very interesting. But
bro, Scott
Lang just telling everything.
Yeah, I just seen Scott Lang. He was out here because didn't they say it was from his podcast series? So he probably just telling everything weekly.
Yeah, yep. Scott Lang just like, hey, if you want to know, you ain't even gotta ask. You
gotta make money somehow.
But what this show does make me really appreciate is the moments in the MCU that are public. So like when Scott Lang was when he went really big and was stopping the boat in San Francisco, it's like, well, everyone saw that. People were taking pictures and everything. So like, I get how people know about that, right? And then you really think about it and you're like, well, the Battle of New York was as public as you could fucking get. Now, the one thing that I thought was the funniest thing is one of the drawings, I think at the Avengers Con, was of Steve, but with like a really fat ass. And it was like
it said thank you, America.
Right. It was hinting at Scott saying like that's America's ass. And I was just like, that is hilarious. Like, why'd you make him so thick though? That was my only question. Like, goddamn.
They wanted to let you know this is America's ass.
Like
that was ass in all capitals. ASS was all caps in that one.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, I want to let you know America do it better. Look how thick the asses is over here. Like,
America's ass, y'all.
Right, like it has encompassed the whole country. This show is just so fucking awesome.
It's so fun and whimsical, like
100%, and it's so sweet. Like it pulls you in. It really does. Like I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about this first episode at all. I mean, usually, Didge, I always say I see people talking about it. And you're like, I don't see none of that. Like I didn't see anyone.
Aside from the racist, it's been good.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're always gonna get that, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're gonna find their way to creep in somehow. But Joel, last thing I want to ask you about before I pass it to Didge for Didge to round this out. Walk me through when you get to the end credit scene, the surprising end credit scene, because it kind of caught me off guard.
Definitely
first episode.
I'm surprised, but I didn't expect.
Luckily, I saw Trevon's tweet about it. Otherwise, I saw it. Okay, well, gotta stick for that.
I have a natural curiosity, so I always stay and I'll fast forward.
You can always tell though if it doesn't. Disney Plus will like straight up.
It'll cut it off, right?
Hey,
it'll cut you off and say,
yeah. If it is, like, wait a minute.
I sat there. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let it run and see the credit. Like, let's let it play out, because a lot of it was just her in her comic book form. The whole like post the credits,
right?
So it's like her in like different art pieces around Jersey City in her comic book form. I'm like, oh, I love that. I'm like just seeing it play through, and then after that, you get a little post credit scene. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta warn people because people are just gonna turn this shit off. So, well, it was interesting. We got with Damage Control, like the return of Damage Control, the guy from No Way Home. What's his name? Agent Cleary, was it?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
So that guy is coming back, it looks like, and he's gonna be a pain in the ass, I'm assuming. So we'll see. Because that obviously they videoed her using her powers in public, and luckily she was wearing a mask. So
right. I am very curious. Because they have not made it known yet. I'm very curious because when you say damage control, right? That essentially means like, all right, some devastating shit's happening. Your job is to clean all of it up.
Normally.
They seem very much interested in a lot more than just cleaning up messes, right? So it's like, is there something else here that we're missing? And it still stands out to me when he was saying that, yeah, Nick Fury hasn't been on Earth for a year. And I'm just like, why do you know that? Like, how do you know that? Because I'm like, if there's one thing we can all agree on, there's no fucking way Nick Fury is reporting to anybody on Earth, right? So it's like, I don't think he would have told anybody that he was going into outer space and replaced himself.
Unless he's reporting now. Unless he's reporting to Nick Fury.
I don't know, because I kind of feel like you got rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. only to make damage control. You know what I'm saying? And if damage control is supposed to be the replacement entity for S.H.I.E.L.D., even though we know S.W.O.R.D. will be, but for them on Earth, that's what damage control is supposed to be. It just seems like there's a lot more clearance than he should have, rather. So I'm just very curious if this is just, whatever, or if this is more.
Because like that's not how it usually is. So.
Not at all. I mean, hey, Joel, remember when they were going to make that NBC show about the people that had to clean up after the mess of like the world of DC? Right. And it's like, well,
it's their version of them.
Right. But literally their job only was to come in and literally just clean up the mess that they made. That was it. They didn't have clearance to anything like that.
insurance based. It was
like, yes, right.
They were coming up with ways to prevent certain damage. Yeah, it was kind of like damage control without being on the streets.
Right. So I'm just very curious. I'm very curious. Excuse me, because again, nothing crazy happened at the Avengers Con. No one died. No one got badly injured or anything. So it's like you kind of think you would just like kind of like a wash
there for a second because that fucking Ant-Man head was gonna. I thought it was gonna roll.
It was rolling. Yeah,
that bitch got hit. Like,
I was about to say, yeah. How heavy is that? Is that fake Mjolnir? Like that shit, it hit the shit out of her. Like,
I didn't think he would let it hit her. I thought my God, it hit her.
Hey, look, I'm Kamala.
I was surprised.
Hey, look, I'm Kamala. Remember that same day, Trevon, they hit the shit out of her with that dodgeball. I'm tired of getting hit. So if I'm Kamala, my instinct is to duck.
I thought she died. Listen, I thought she was dying. I was like, shit, that thing hit her pretty hard. Like
it hit her really hard.
It looked
really hard.
Dark real fast.
Yeah, it rocked her shit.
Episode 1, oh man, it was so whimsical until then.
Yeah, it definitely rocked her shit. I definitely looked at it like, damn, okay, Jesus.
She's all right. Okay.
But yes, I am curious what DOD's purpose is in this series and then going forward. But Didge, end this out, man. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I think, like I've been saying, it was so fun. It was whimsical. It was different. It didn't seem like any other Disney Plus show that they've done so far, and I liked that. So yeah, I think I talked through everybody else's explanation a lot. But it is something I can't wait to see the next episode. I'm excited to see where it's gonna go from here. And like in terms of her powers, I was a little upset going into it, thinking like, oh man, I would want to see sort of more of a comic book accurate expectation of it. But seeing how it is, I was like, you know what, I can live with it.
As long as it's a bridge, that's my only thing.
It would be nice.
As long as it's a bridge.
Yeah, it would for sure be nice to see it come eventually. But if this is what we're getting throughout the course of this series, and like maybe episode 6 is sort of showing where she's getting her actual powers and then going into the movie, I'd be okay with it.
To me, say it again.
I assumed it was 6. That's what all the other ones seemed like they were.
I don't know. Yeah, I was wondering. I didn't even look.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They're like 50 minutes. Like today's episode's 50, so it should be 6.
My only issue, like I said, Didge, is you set a weird precedent if you're telling your audience like, hey, we changed our powers because it fit the era that we're currently in. Because then that leads me to believe, well, whatever your next phase is, are you going to change someone else's power just to fit where you're at? Like that's not a narrative that necessarily makes sense. The only reason I'm accepting of her powers being changed is because it's not a permanent thing, right? Like she didn't put the bangled on and it like infused into her skin and now it's like, no, it's just something she could put on and take off. So I'm like,
and it very well could be. Cool. I know it's marketed as a coming of age show, and what better way to flip a coming of age show on its head is at the end, she sort of gets accustomed to these powers. She gets used to it. And then so now you think she didn't, I guess, came of age. And then all of a sudden it's, oh no, you got this whole new set of powers you got to get used to. And it's like, that's where it ends.
I mean, because I definitely want to see
take it off.
Wait, say it again.
Can't she even take it off? I was like, is it like stuck? Right
now? Is it like stuck on?
That wouldn't actually be my question. My question would be more so, does she want to take it off?
Of course not.
I mean, I wouldn't.
So then my question is, because to me, I'm like, if I had that, I would never need to find out if it can come off. It would be more so if I want to take it
right.
off. But yeah, I do want to see.
Day, baby. No,
I want to see the mom's reaction to her having it on. Can't wait
to her having it on. Yeah, it definitely is going to be fun. I do want to see the struggle of the day that breaks, right? And it's now the struggle of her trying to re-find herself because she's built so much of who she is on being a hero. And like you said, Didge, the Terrigen Mist comes around. She gets the actual embiggening powers, and now it's shit. I gotta get used to a whole new thing now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I did go back. By the way, can I just add this in for all the people that are like, nah, she didn't get it right away because they wanted to separate her and Reed Richards. They very much use their power sets differently. Like she's more aggressive in her fighting than he is. So it's like she does a whole lot more of aggressive attacks than Reed Richards.
She also likes to grow more.
Right.
Grows.
Yeah, you've never really seen Reed Richards do this, really. He does this, but this? No.
The thing they do the most similarly is they both use their arms. They stretch their arms.
His is more passive. He's more passive.
100%. And also, think of it like this. I have team members that can turn to fire. One is strong as shit, and the other one's invisible. I don't usually have to be the most aggressive motherfucker in the room. I'll allow the rock guy to be it, right? So that's what I'm saying. There is a difference between them that you can easily showcase. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult.
You don't want to fight.
Right, exactly. But yeah, overall, we all enjoyed this first episode. I know we wish we had more because it was that fucking good. But look, this is a great way to start it, because usually if you started off rocky, we're like, oh, where do you go now?
You started off great.
Yeah. So now I'm pining for more and more episodes going forward. So bravo to that entire team. I'm not familiar with the culture at all, but I can tell you this show makes me want to become more aware of the culture. And that's something that I've only ever seen with Shang-Chi in the MCU, where you're showing me something so drastically different that now I'm kind of like, I kind of want to know a little bit more about their customs. Like, how did things work with them? Like, I would love to know that. So this definitely gives me the same vibe. So congrats to that entire team. You guys are awesome. Can't wait for episode 2 to break it down with the three of you. But I want to give a shout out to Didge, Joel, and Trevon for joining me on this stream to breaking down episode 1 of Msmarvel. And shout out to everybody in the comment section. Got to take it off at least to shower. I don't know. Real jewelry, usually real jewelry like that doesn't do what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she maybe doesn't need to. No, I'm just saying, I don't think it has the effect of like it ruins the jewelry if it gets wet. Usually jewelry like that isn't what we know some jewelry to be. So I'm like, I don't even think she needs to do it for that. But all right, guys, we're about to go live again for Kenobi.